Here. Fancy, fancy, fancy. Oh, that hurt, but good. All right, we're just getting set up here. I'm curious to see how all this works. I have not done any major editing to this yet. I wanted to let everyone join, give everyone a couple of minutes to hop on board. Let's see if this is actually coming up everywhere. Oh, it is. It's popping up. Post something in the chat. If you're on Rumble or you're over on Locals, post something in the chat. I want to see if it pops up in my chat here. I should be able to bring all the chat live on screen as well. As we get going, I'm going to, yeah, this is popping up. This is popping up. Oh, I'm seeing it. Okay. Okay, check this out. Check this out. Boom. I can actually post that. So you guys say something and I can post it up to the screen there. Now I'm going to see if I can do the same thing. I believe I can do the same thing with the whole chat here. Boom. It is buttery smooth. WRL Jet just sees a spinning thing. Refresh if he just sees the spinning thing. I can't type back to you guys from this interface, but you guys can type towards me. If you are on YouTube, that integration doesn't seem to be fully fleshed out in Rumble Studio yet, because I'm just using Rumble Studio for all of this. I'm not doing anything else. Normally, I run everything through OBS, and I modify everything, and I tweak it all a whole heck of a lot, and it goes all crazy. I'm not doing that today. I'm just literally using Rumble Studio. We're going to see how this works today here. So if you're over on YouTube right now, go on over to Rumble or go to lunduke.locals.com, because if you type in the chat there, watch this. I can go like this. I can post your chat directly to the screen. That's kind of neat. That's kind of cool. I'm going to see if I can post. I believe I can post all of the chat, the live chat to the side of the screen. And we're going to try and spend a couple of minutes before we get into a Q&A. And we're going to just kick the tires on Rumble Studio and see what we can do and see how it can work for us. I'm thinking, look at that. Soul just posted, howdy, heading to lunch. We'll listen to both. Can I pin two here? Can I pin two things? No, I can only pin one at a time. Okay. These are things I need to learn about this whole interface. Here, let me see if I can show you guys a screen share of this. Start screen share. I want to share with you guys. Choose what to screen share with people. Oh, this is kind of cool. Boom. We're just starting this out here. I'm going to share with you guys my whole gosh darn window. I am now sharing a window with that infinitely nests. So that's kind of neat. Oh, this actually looks kind of good. This actually looks not too bad. So I can present. Wee, that's fun. And then that's just the background. I don't need that. But this ain't bad. So what's kind of cool here is from within Rumble Studio. Let me show it to you again here. Start screen share. Let me just do the whole window. Or let's not do the whole window. Let's do the Chrome tab. How do I do this here? Here, we'll just share out the Lunduke journal. Share that. All right, and then presentation. And then what's cool is then I can come back here and share out individual windows on my Chrome tab, or on Chrome, or actually any Chrome-based browser, any tab. any tab at all, which is really, really handy. Chat's not working on mobile. Sorry, Greg. Chat's not working on mobile. We'll have to check that out. But this seems to be generally working. I'm kind of impressed by this. I'm kind of impressed by this. All right. Now, what I need to do is actually get to the point where we can figure out how this. Here, I'm going to stop sharing this. Let's go back to this and stop sharing that. Now I need to make it look good, right? I need to figure out how to fine tune everything and dial it all in and actually make it look quite right. Once again, if you're watching this over on YouTube, go check out Rumble or Locals. Pin. Alex says he's on mobile and it's working dandy. Can't go wrong. Loving it. Loving it. All right, so I can pin those as often as I want. Let me see. Can I add a new theme? Yes. Oh, check this out. Check this out. Chat theme. All right, so I can put in a live chat overlay. Do I need to do something else? It says, why can't I create theme? Why can't I create that? I feel like I should be able to create this. Tell me how I can create this. Do I need to color? Do I need to add an image? Optional. Okay, chat theme, live chat, color. Selected color applies to custom text elements, altering either the, okay, so let's see. All right, let's create the theme. Okay, now, there, look at that. Boom, kabam, shablammy. Now we're piping in all the live chat. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. Now, what happens if I go to pin? All right, so let's say, what do we got here? Greg says to choose your own adventure. If I pin it, okay, so it kind of underlays over there. So I'll have to tweak with that. I wonder if I can move my my chat. I don't think I can yet. Okay, I'll have to mention that to them. What's great is, so we're in the beta right now. Not a whole lot of folks are in the Rumble Studio beta, but we're special. And we're going to give them some feedback and let them know what's working and what's doing awesome. All right, everybody, behave yourself. I know you just realized that you're on a live chat, but you guys behave yourself. No naughty words, no cursing and swearing. Remember, at the Lunduke Journal, the language we use, imagine that you're a cowboy and you're in church. Volume is super loud. You're super loud. You know what's funny? I think that's the first time anyone's ever said that about one of my shows. My volume is always way too low. Like everyone's always like, "You're too quiet, Lunduke." So first time anyone's ever said I'm too loud in one of my shows. That's awesome. It does take a good bit for stuff to pop into the chat feed. There's a little bit of a lag. A little tiny bit of a lag. Now, John, let's not talk about Oracle right now. That's inappropriate. No, not cool, John. You take it back. John says Oracle. I'm going to pin that. John says, see, again, the pinning is underneath the chat. I would like for the chat, that little pinned thing, that's cool. But when the chat is up, the pin needs to go off to the side of the chat somehow. I'm gonna have to let them know about that. Let's see. Oh, scroll down. Local chat on mobile doesn't work at all. Locals chat on web works fine. Oh, interesting. Interesting. They're doing a ton of work right now. I am super impressed. I am super impressed. So what's cool about this? What's really, really neat about this sort of setup here is I can go live from anywhere, from absolutely anywhere, from basically any sort of device, because all of the compositing is happening both on my end, but it's also happening on the server end, and that's where the stream's going out. So I could literally do this show from a Chromebook. You know what I mean? Like, as long as I've got something beefy enough with a decent camera and good USB connection so I can plug in my microphones and everything else, I'm good to go. And it all uses this web interface to composite everything and send it out. But their backend server, I think this is kind of a brilliant approach to this. What they're doing is they are compositing everything on basically just a little HTML canvas, right? A little canvas view, right? They're just overlaying stuff on top of the video and modifying the video and whatnot. So it's pretty lightweight, but they're doing the same overlaying on the client as they do on the server side. And on the server side, they spin up a basically a headless web view, do all the compositing in there, and then use their servers to RTMP stream it out to whatever solution I want to stream to. It's brilliant. I mean, in a way, that's kind of heavy. You know what I mean? It's not a super lightweight solution, but it's a solution that you could build to scale really well. And you can make it so that people could do it without overly beefy system requirements on their end and without a lot of setup. No OBS here. This is just the web studio. I'm like, you'll notice like the little right here, the little lower third that normally stretches all the way across the bottom. The way it currently works, that doesn't seem to function quite right. It's small for some reason, even though that's a 1080p wide image down there. And so there's a couple of bugs clearly left to work out. This is definitely a beta, but honestly, the bugs that are remaining are small. Like being able to do the lower third at full size, being able to do the pin. Like here, we'll just pin this. Being able to do that pin, which I think is really cool. This little thing right there, that's cool, because then you guys can ask me questions. I can highlight it and answer the questions live directly from that and move on. That's just super, super neat. The chat works good. This thing here, they've got a series of themes that you can build out. So you can build out themes with your own images and your own fonts and everything else, and it works. It works pretty good. It works pretty good. Just a couple of little tweaks. I also don't have the ability with inside Rumble Studios web app itself to modify the camera zoom, right? So I can't zoom in on my camera. So right now it's just the big old 1080p of everything around me. Normally I zoom it in a little bit tighter. Nobody knows that, John. Nobody knows what the square root of 592,700 or 573 is. Your grayscale is only kind of grayscale. See, right. It's a little weird that it's not fully gray at the moment. So there's a couple of things that need to get tweaked here, but I'm really liking where they're going with this. When I talked with the dev team behind Rumble Studio yesterday morning, they also mentioned that they got mobile apps coming, and that's really exciting. And what I think is cool, and I think this is great. So the web app seems to be working great. I haven't tried the mobile apps yet because they're not released yet, but supposedly pretty soon. And by pretty soon, it sounds like weeks, just like real soon. They have an iOS and Android app, and they're native. That kind of blew my mind. Like, at a time when most people would have taken the web view and just kind of tweaked the UI and bundled it up as a web application for iOS and Android. They opted to go ahead and just make an actual native set of applications for iOS and Android. The iOS one is using Swift, and they're they're going the fully native route on the mobile. And supposedly, according to what they told me, full functionality, right? So I could do everything I'm doing here from my Android phone. They don't have a version for DOS yet. I'll put in a feature request for that one. I want an Amiga version. I mean, this is pretty. It's pretty cool. By the way, again, if you're over on YouTube, we are streaming to Rumble, Locals, and YouTube right now. It also supports Twitch and any other RTMP recipient system we can stream to, but it only currently right now has a functioning like full integration with YouTube or with Twitch, Rumble, and Locals. Apparently, there's something going on with the YouTube integration, but they should have that working again soon. Apparently, they had it working, but YouTube changed some things, and they had to get like YouTube approval on stuff because YouTube is YouTubey, friggin' YouTube. But what's cool is I have a view right here of you notice all the people coming by with a little L next to their names are all on Locals right now. If I go back here a little ways, here I'm gonna pin this one here. Here's one guy, Greg, posting from Rumble, and gives a little Rumble icon next to it. If I was on Twitch, it would have a little Twitch icon next to it. And when the YouTube stuff is working in, YouTube will be in there as well. And so we actually get all of it. I can do all of it from one individual view. So I've got to get a few things ironed out. Clearly, I mean, it's not 100%, but this is pretty neat. This is pretty cool. I mean, why not, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, see there you go. Thank you, Greg. This is what it looks like to post from Rumble Web, and I'm pinning it. I'm pinning that, darn it. This works. This works. Here, I'll just unpin that. So anyway, let's do a little bit of a Q&A. So queue up your questions. If you got any really nerdy questions, throw them at me. I'm going to talk about a couple of things before we dive into the Q&A, just so everyone's up to speed on everything that's happening all around the world. Again, if you're on YouTube and you post your questions to YouTube, I will not see them. That's sorry, guys. But if you go to Rumble, the Rumble channel, or to the local side of things, your comments will be seen. Go to lunduke.com if you're over on YouTube, and there's links to the Rumble channel, and there's links right there to lunduke.locals.com, and go over there, watch it there. You can chat there, and I will see everything you post. The YouTube comments aren't getting fed into Rumble Studio at this point. So a couple of things. Number one, the functionality of this is going to allow us to do a lot of new things, a lot of very cool things that I had put on hold for a while, and I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to do a live call-in show for a long time. One of my favorite things is to interact with all of you guys and actually have conversations with all of you. And taking your text questions is great, but it doesn't replace being able to talk to each other, being able to see each other, being able to feed off of each other. It's just one of my favorite things. It's when I do like the live shows that I do. That's my favorite part. It's not just getting up in front of an audience and having people just stare at me for an hour. Like, I like it when we can talk to each other and joke with each other, and people heckle me, and I give them a good ribbon back. Like, that's my favorite. And so I've been wanting to do a live call-in show for forever. We tried it last year. We failed spectacularly. It went so bad, calling in east from east of the Rockies. Beautiful, beautiful job. It went so bad. We couldn't get it together. There were technical issues that we had to overcome, and one of the big problems was just the logistics of actually pulling it off. It was really, really hard to do solo. Like, if I had a team of like two people, like two producers working on the other side of the studio from me, I could pull it off. but with just me, I couldn't do it. The Rumble Studio guys have a solution in place that is totally going to work for me. It's absolutely going to work, and the way they've built it out is fantastic. So check this out. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes so you know how all this is working. So I can do video chat interviews with this. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Um, no, I can't because I don't have a separate feed coming in. But normally, when I do a video interview or even an audio interview, we do some sort of video chat like a Google Hangouts or Google Meet or a Jitsi or a Zoom call or whatever. And then I use OBS to composite all that together. It gets a little hinky sometimes. It has some issues. It can have some latency problems. And we end up fiddling around with getting it to work so often. What they've done in Rumble Studio is basically made it so when I want to invite a guest or multiple guests, I send them a link, and the links come on in to the show. They basically, it's a link directly to video chat with me on this, and then it essentially gives them the direct RTMP streaming back and forth. They have the same interface as I do, sort of. It's just simplified, and they boom get shoved into it. And there's layouts where we can have two people side by side, or we can have me and then a couple other guests. And so we can have multiple guests all at once without any other software. They just have a link and it loads up a web page that doesn't require them to sign in. That doesn't require them to do anything. They just boom, instantly are part of the chat. That's really neat. That's incredibly cool. And it kind of streamlines the whole having a lot of video guests process in place. And again, it all gets rendered on their server. So the Rumble server farm does all that rendering and chugging for me. I could be doing this all from like a super low end Chromebook. I could literally go buy a $100 Chromebook, plug in my little Yeti microphone, USB microphone, and then whatever webcam I feel like is going to be good enough, plug it in via USB, and boom, away I go. And I could do multiple high definition video streams with multiple high definition guests, with live chat and composited things and all sorts of stuff. This is very cool. And I could also do all of that from my Android phone or from an iPhone, whatever. I could do all of it from everything. Now, for a live call-in show, what they've come up with is fantastically brilliant. All that basically I do is I say, okay, everybody who wants to be in the live call-in show, here's a link. So what I'll do is I'll go to locals and I'll drop a link for everyone who wants to join the live call-in show, and they'll click that link. And in that link, they'll continue watching the show. They'll get into a queue with their name, the question or topic they want to talk about, and it'll get into a queue. And then I'll have a little view on the side here where I get to say, all right, calling in east of the Rockies, it's John. And I'll click boop, and then shoop, you'll slide in and you'll be on half the screen and I'll be on half the screen. And then I can get rid of you when I want to and move on to the next person. Brilliant. All in one page, a single page. Oh my gosh, that is huge. I think that is huge. The fact that we can do this now is mind-blowingly awesome. So it looks like we've got a couple of weeks to wait before the live chat is coming. I'm fine with that. I can be a little bit patient. In the meantime, we're going to work with Rumble Studio. We're going to get it all together. We're going to kind of fine tune it. We're going to give them our feedback. Anything that you guys want to see changed, I've already got like one or two little tweaks and requests that I'm going to hand into them. They're really receptive, really cool group of people. And this is just absolutely awesome. So there was a couple of questions that came through here. Greg asks, how hard is it to pull in web browser or other app interface to the broadcast? Super easy. I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start a screen share here. So when I how do I do this here? Here, you guys get to see a little behind the scenes here. I'm going to maximize this. Oops, nope, not like that. That doesn't look very good. So let's do a screen share. I can share a screen that is either a tab on my browser, any particular window, or the entire screen. Like for example, I'm going to share out this screen. So I just shared out a tab of my browser, and then I've got that tab of my browser up, and I can share out anything I want, video games, web browsers, anything at all. It's all shareable. It's all there. It's all shareable, and it's super easy. It's it's really ridiculous. It's fantastic. Let me go back over here. Stop sharing that. And again, no compositing software at all. I'm gonna unpin that real quick. There we go. Um, this is just awesome. Now, I want to touch on this really quickly here. Hank says, "I just wish we had the open source software solution." Was always an Odyssey fan. I agree. This would be if this was all open source, it would be amazing. However, there is nothing like this in the open source world. I mean, this is oh my gosh. This is amazing, right? And so if this were all open source, would that be great? Yes. If Rumble and Locals and all them made all this all open source, would I high five them? Of course I would. But you know what? The fact that they're doing it and they're making it easy for us, and they're not exactly charging things. I mean, this the Rumble Studio here is free for us to use. I'm okay with it. As much as I am a free software open source thumper sometimes, if proprietary software is done well and the team has a good head on their shoulders and they're really doing things properly and trying to respect our rights, respect our privacy, and just be thoughtful to all of it, I would rather have the great software and the great solutions like this that are closed than not have these solutions at all. That's my personal feeling on that matter. Um, so Jordan actually makes a good point. There are open source projects that do restreaming and the like. There are actually several open source projects that do little bits and pieces of what we're doing today. Not least of which is you could use OBS and several open source restreaming projects and a ton of hard work to make some of this happen. But like this integrated chat we've got going on here, that's a nightmare to get going. All the functionality I'm getting, all of the live call-in show I'm getting, shoot, I want it so bad. I don't care if it's closed or open. I don't care. I just want it real bad. So what we're gonna do for the live call-in show, it's only going to be open to people who subscribe to Locals, and that is for two really good reasons. The first reason is I want more people to subscribe to Locals. But that's not the main reason. The main reason, the second reason number two, is we need to make sure that if I have a live call-in show, that the people who are calling in are invested in making sure it's classy. I mean, and I don't mean that every question needs to be stuffy, but I mean that I don't have any trolls, right? So in order for people to get the link to be part of the queue to be in the live call-in show, they will have to be local subscribers, because that means that they put in a couple of bucks and they put their money where their mouth is, and they're invested in being part of the community. They want to be a fans of the show. Yes, no Baba Booey callers, right? I mean, though, to be fair, if people want a Baba Booey, that's okay. But you know what I mean. I don't want people coming in and being vulgar, because then I end up having to go in and edit things, and it just makes work for me. I hate working. I hate it. I'm a fundamentally very lazy man. If I can be as lazy as possible when it comes to video editing, more is the better. I like to do my shows live. I like to hit the go button, do the show, and hit the stop button, and boom, the show's done. I don't like to go back in and mess with it. I have so many friends who are YouTube creators and the like, and they like to go in and they create all these quick cuts and chops and overlays and swoops, and it's not me. It's not me, ladies and gentlemen. I can't go down that route. So I'm just not gonna. So I'm just going to make sure everyone is a local subscriber. So if they're on lunduke.locals.com, they'll get the link. They click the link. They can watch the show from that link. And then when it becomes their turn to get into the queue, it'll activate. It'll make sure their cameras all working and their microphones all working, and connect them, and then it'll connect them right into here as if they were just a regular video guest that I could have on, like if I'm doing an interview or something, and I could kick them out when I want to. This is just the way to go. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I couldn't ask for a better solution here. Again, if those of you who are hanging out over on YouTube, get over to Rumble and Locals. That is a much better experience. Your chat will show up in the chat feed, and we can chat along the way. One thing I want to mention before we go any further here. Let me share this other tab again. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. Check this out. Okay, so we're not doing. This is kind of important. I feel like this is kind of a community update. By popular vote, we are no longer doing any sort of promotional material, sales, discounts, etc., over on Locals. So if you're in lunduke.locals.com, you're just not going to be seeing, hey, everybody, have you subscribed to the Lunduke Journal stuff? We're not going to be doing that, right? We've been growing to a good point. We don't need to do that anymore. So we're not going to do that, because the Lunduke Journal is just a nice sanctuary away from all that sort of things. However, I am going to be bombarding Substack and Patreon and YouTube and everywhere else with constant reminders to get your little nerdy behinds over to Locals, because this is the future. No ads at all over on Locals. No ads from big tech, and no ads from me. and this is just how it needs to be. And so what I'm doing is quite possible. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but it's what I've decided to do. Half the stuff I do doesn't make any sense, but it's what I decide to do anyway. What I'm doing is this: running a global discount for all the people on all those other platforms, where I am increasing the cost of the discounted subscription to lunduke.locals.com by $1 every day, every single day. So, like, for example, let me scroll down here for a little bit here. So, like, right now, and this is ridiculous. Right now, I'm putting up a simple discount saying if you want to get a yearly subscription to all three sites, it's $26. Super crazy cheap, right? Tomorrow it's $27. That's how much it costs tomorrow. The day after that, it's $28, and very quickly it's just going to go away entirely, and then all the sales are gone, and then I'm just going to beat people over the head with a fish to remind them to just go subscribe at full price. But so the price goes up every day, which means literally the current day, whatever day that is the cheapest it will ever be to subscribe to the Lunduke Journal over on Locals. That's how that's going to be. So if you go to I don't know if I have the link on me, but if you go to lunduke.substack.com and you click on the how to subscribe button up at top of lunduke.substack.com, you can get all the information on that. Whatever, go do that if you want, if you haven't already. I'm going to go back here. So that's what's happening with that. But once you're over on locals, you're not going to see any of those things anymore because no more of those, right? So that's how that works. And oh yes. They do have someone was asking about things like super chat. So YouTube has the functionality where you can have a super chat type thing where you can toss a couple of bucks to a creator during a live stream and have your chat kind of show up top. They are having they I don't know if it's functional at the moment, but they have a thing where like if you tip a live stream on locals, it supposedly will show up on the stream or maybe optionally show up on the stream. I'm not sure exactly how that's working and I don't know if it's all plugged in yet, but yeah, they've got something like that going on. But this clearly, I mean, Rumble Studios in beta, but it's a very polished beta. The core functionality does seem to be working really surprisingly well, and I think Rumble has similar functionality to that where you can kind of like tip a live stream and it'll show up in the chat, and I think that translates through to Rumble Studio. I don't know if it currently does or not. I haven't tested it out, but we'll find out as we go forward. Oh man, I just burped a little bit and it was delicious. That was a good breakfast. Got some scrambled eggs, some nice whole grain toast. Well, not whole grain, but it was Dave's Killer Bread, the 21 grain. Oh, I pan fried that in some butter, put some buttery scrambled eggs on top. Oh, was I happy? Oh, I love food. All right, guys. Let's do some questions. Post your questions to the chat. I'll grab them and do the little pin thing, and we can talk about whatever you guys want for a little while. I'm really liking this. And one thing that they do that's really cool, and I might do it in a little bit, is they have a button. They have a button that I can click that will make all the streaming platforms except local and Rumbles have an overlay pop up that says, hey, get over to Rumble and locals, and it'll mute my audio stream and just have the video of me playing in the background. Dude, it worked. Thanks, Hank, for the $2 tip. Look at that. It just showed up with a little spinny dollar sign. Hold on, I'm going to pin that. I'm going to pin it. Don't come back. I'm going to pin you. That was amazing. That worked. Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. Alt Hacker, welcome. This does seem to be working a ton better. The team at local and Rumbles, they have been working their tuchuses off. I'm telling you, I am really impressed with what they're doing. I have a few things I got to figure out. Number one, I got to talk to them about finding the right way to do the lower third overlays. My guess is I think there's probably a way to do it properly that I'm not seeing, because there's a couple of features in here called themes, and I can put images and text and media on all sorts of different themes, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to do that. So I'll talk to them and make sure I'm doing that right. The second thing is the ability to zoom in and out my video. I don't know that necessarily they're going to add that in. I can always lean very far in, or I can do a virtual camera. There's a couple of ways to do virtual cameras, including through OBS, where I can zoom in, apply effects so I can make me black and white, and then pipe the virtual camera, the virtual webcam into Rumble Studio. It's a little more heavyweight solution, but it would work in a pinch. And this is pretty sweet. This is pretty sweet. Okay. Questions. There were some questions. Speaking of food, here we go. Pin. Speaking of food, what is the nerdiest meal you've ever eaten? What would a nerdy meal be? I don't even know what a nerdy meal would be. What's the nerdiest meal you like? You're talking like micro gastronomus or whatever. Like I don't know what's a nerdy meal. It's like a meal eaten at a conference, like at a tech conference. I don't know. I like food a lot. I like all kinds of food. Lately, I've been really getting into Cajun food because I've just settled in Cajun country, and so I've been really trying to like bone up on all my Cajun cooking, and so that's been fun. Working on things like getting down just right the red beans and rice recipe. Boom, Greg, testing. Oh, thank you, Greg. Um, uh, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been really focused on you had Romulan ale once. Does that count? Yeah, that counts. Oh man, my daughter is a big Harry Potter fan, and she really wants to go to Universal Studios in Florida where they have like what's the street? Diagon Alley. Is that what it's called? Yeah, where they have the little Londony alley where you to go shopping for all the magic items and whatnot. And they have it so in there so you can get like the butter beer, and they have all the different foods from the Harry Potter universe, and she's excited to try all of them. So that would be nerdy. That'd be nerdy. Oh, you had a cake with tux on it. You had a cake. That's nerdy. I've never had a cake with tux. I have had a cake with the chameleon, the Sousa chameleon on it. I have done that. I also had a cake that was just shaped like a big Sousa chameleon once. I guess that's nerdy. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the nerdiest I've ever had. Now that I think about it, thank you, Llama, for helping me with that. Um, mm, 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 mm. This is great. This is great. I'm telling you guys, I am just really happy about this. I'm so happy we get to do a live call-in show finally. After so long. After so long, we get to do it. Holy Tux. I have had a lot of Tux cookies. I have there's this thing that kind of happens where and one particular person spearheaded this and it kind of just grew out of control. But when I've been speaking at conferences, people bring cookies to me. I don't remember where it started exactly, but I some where or by who, but someone brought me some cookies to a conference once, and I started handing them out. And so we had cookies while everyone watched my show, and then that kept kind of blowing up. And someone one year went to the grocery store and bought just like a cart full of cookies, packaged, Nabisco and whatnot cookies, and probably 15 boxes of different kinds of cookies. And as I was doing shows throughout the day, organizers from the conference and just random people would come in looking confused sometimes and be like, I'm supposed to bring you cookies, Lunduke. And they would just keep handing me cookies. So by the end of that particular day, we just had piles of cookies and people were just eating cookies. It was fantastic. It was just nonstop nerdy cookies. But that kind of spun off, and then people started baking me cookies. And so I have had a couple of homemade Tux the Penguin cookies. Usually they're sugar cookies that have been kind of iced, some of them quite well. And I remember I did a show once where before the show started, I bit the head off of Tux, and that made everyone very happy. Those were good times. Oh, Trail Bliss asks, what flavor would the Sousa chameleon cake taste like? I hope it was not made with real chameleons. No, but the cake that we made, oh man, the cake that we had made, we hired a bakery to do it, was just vanilla-y cake, just real simple, like angel food type cake on the inside, dyed green. It was gross looking. Because the frosting was green. The angel food cake on the inside was green, and it was two layers, and in the middle was just like a custardy frosting in layer in the middle, but it was also green. So everyone had green teeth and green tongues and green lips, and it was gross. The cake tasted good, but it was just this big chameleon we had made, and it was just green, green, and green. It was green on green on green, and it was way too much green. No cake should ever be that green. It was overwhelmingly green, but it was just vanilla-y. Um, My grandparents are having a hard time understanding why writing a bash script to log the driving time I spend for my learner's permit is any more efficient than just keeping a spreadsheet. Well, you can't help them on that one. I mean, some people just don't understand the efficiency of writing a bash script to do anything. If something can be done, it can be done with a bash script. I've said that a million times. Will I make an Amiga cake at Amiga Week? I don't know. I hadn't thought about making an Amiga. Amiga Week is coming up in a couple weeks, I think. Not too far. I can't. Is it next week? Week after? It's in December. December, right? Yeah, it's in December. And I haven't thought about making anything. I haven't made any sort of cooked goods or baked goods for any of the themed weeks as yet. Anywho's, but I don't know. It's not a bad idea. It's not a terribly bad idea. Quick reminder to everyone over on YouTube, get over to lunduke.locals.com or Rumble for a far better streaming experience. And that gets your live chat over here. It automatically feeds you into here. So pick whichever one you want, Rumble or Locals, and you can get in there. In theory, in the future, I'll be able to make it so all the people over on YouTube, their chat will show up there as well. Now, in 1 or 2 minutes, I am going to click on a button that is going to do something that I hope will be kind of cool. If you are not currently on YouTube and you want to see it happen, head over to the YouTube channel so you can see it happen. This is a test. We're going to test out the functionality that drives everybody over to Rumble and Locals. We're going to see how this works. They have special built-in functionality for this, and I'm really, really hoping it works. If you are over on YouTube right now and watching this, go pick up a subscription to lunduke.locals.com. Go to lunduke.com. All the details are there. If you go to lunduke.substack.com and go to the how to subscribe up top, there are some discounts you can grab. Just grab a discount, get over there so that you can actually enjoy everything that I do. Okay, here I go. I am going to click and let me know how this works, everybody. Let me know when you see it pop up on the YouTube side of things. I'm going to click a button here. All right, here we go. Here we go.